to start with some updates on injured players, Coach?
We're going to see tomorrow if Burrow's ready to go, so he's a possibility. So that will decide if we're going 12-6 or 7-11. We'll have to discuss this afternoon if we're bringing up somebody. Most probably we will, because we're not sure about Burrow. Yeah, that's about it.
Same prognosis for Bobby, a month?
Yeah, minimum a month, yeah.
Zach Smith, anything, you said maybe a week, but he's not skating, so it's going to be a little...
Not necessarily, no. We're hoping that he can test a contact on Thursday. And if he tests a contact on Thursday and it goes well, there's a slight possibility for Friday. We'll see, but it really depends. It's every day we see the progression. He could shoot today, so we'll see tomorrow.
So is he not, so has been skating then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Condo is going tomorrow. Yeah, we got many games and very few nights, and we decided we want to go 2 and 2. Not necessarily knowing yet which one of the 2 and 2, but we'll start with tomorrow. So Condo's in, yep.
Just looking at, I know it's early in the season, but you guys are top 5 in the league in goals scored, and I think a lot of us were wondering, would this team be able to generate a lot of offense? Just from your perspective, what does that mean to you to be right now top 5 in the league in goals scored?
To be honest with you, we know the number one indicator for playoffs is to be top 10 goals against. So if we're top 5 goals for, that's fine. But if we're not top 10 goals against, then it means nothing. We've got a lot of teams last year that had a lot of offense and still wondering why they're not making playoffs. So our priority is still be top 10 defensively, and we wanted to improve our offense, but without having our defensive side leave us, and that's still going to be our focus. Our focus is to be the best two-way team in the league. So if our offense catches up to our defensive game, great. But if our defensive game diminishes, then we're going nowhere. We know that, and especially now in the absence of Bobby, who's doing so well, and Smitty. I mean, 2 guys in the top 6 forwards. Those are gigantic losses. Like together, that's huge. So I don't know what it's going to mean in terms of goals for the next games. But our approach, it can't be that we're going to be outscoring teams in the next games with the lineup that we have right now. So we got to keep it tight. Have we changed anything? No. It's just the fact that our players are not spending the first month and a half, 2 months to figure out what our systems are. Is making a difference. That's all. It's not like, oh my God, they focus on offense now. Absolutely not. So whoever would say that is really out to lunch in their evaluation, because it's just the fact that you have to think less about your overall game, and because you're more free-minded, then you've got some fractions of seconds you allocate to offense when you have the puck, but when you don't have the puck, you're on defense. So we haven't changed anything. And the one thing, though, that we need to improve, and we've talked about it, is the offense doesn't come from making more plays. It comes from being harder and more often at the net. And if you look at the top 2 teams before last game, I didn't check today, but the top 2 teams in the league offensively were who? Toronto and Jersey. What do they both have in common? They're outstanding, putting pucks at the net and driving and whacking and jamming. And that's it. That's where the offense comes from. And, you got some great players, of course, but those great players are hard at the net. And that's why those teams are up there. And that's what we want to be. That's what we were by the end of last year. That's what we were in the playoffs. And that's where we were able to do what we did last year. We were great defensively, and we were hard offensively. But when you can start the year again, you're not hard offensively again. And you got to get that back. And I think our players have shown that Calgary, Edmonton, and our last game against Toronto. That's why we've scored 3 games with 6 goals. So it's really not about adding stuff. It's just continuing to harp on the hard offense and a difficult one and the paying the price one in front of the opponent's net. So am I surprised that we can do that? Absolutely not. When we are that hard. we're expecting to score goals, and that's what we've done. So, am I happy? Of course, but our focus can't change. It's just the minute we start flipping to the other side, I know where that's going. So we want to make sure that we're great at both sides of the ice.
What did you see from Logan Brown on Saturday, Coach?
Well, we saw both. We saw a young guy that's did some good offensive stuff, and then we saw him get out of position when Matthews scored his second goal. Like he should be in the middle there, and he just made a youngster mistake where he gave the middle away. It wasn't his fault in the sense that he was on the ice when Matthews was there, but he wasn't on the ice originally. He was against another line, and then like they did a few times during the game, they jump the board and they put their top guys on, and which other teams will do when you're on the road, without jumping off the board. They're doing it because they got the last change. They want to target your young guys. They want to target some of your weaker defensive guys, of course, and that's normal. And he got caught out there, and it's just a great learning curve for him. He gets some good stuff offensively, and then defensively he gets to learn about the effects of positioning and the professional details, and that's what they are. And he's learning them now because he's living them. So he's I would say that's probably his best mix of his games since he's been with us.
It's a challenge, Lou.
Well, I mean, you're losing the first line guy. I mean, and we've lost Smith. So I would say if you lose one, it's bad. If you lose two, it's a gigantic hole. And so the fact for me, they had a great chemistry, that line. And so it wasn't just Bobby, it's the line. There were points and pluses, and they're great defensively. They were working hard. You could really feel the chemistry between the three. So it's sad for Bobby, but he's going to have to train really hard to be ready when he comes back. And now we got to find some way to keep that line doing what they were doing, and find a way to disperse the strength amongst our lines.
Does it help that you've dealt with adversity in the past?
Oh yeah, yes, for sure. Our guys are going into games that knowing there's a way, and that's just our philosophy. It didn't matter last year. There's a way. We don't know what it is sometimes, but there's a way, and so we're going to figure out as the game goes on tomorrow, what's best, and it's going to be a mishmash of lines. So I wouldn't write lines down very much, guys. It won't last very long. I can tell you right now. Once the penalty kill starts and the power plays and they double shift their first lines and all that, then the lines go out to lunch on. So it's yeah. I mean, what you got today is the way we're going to start. And we got Tommy with Turris and Zingle there, and you look at what Tommy did last game. He's a +4. Scored a goal. Basically, he got the third assist on the Zinger goal. He's the one that took it in the zone. So I mean, that's two offensive plays, and but that's what it is. I knew that. I know him, and if you watch the playoffs last year, they had him playing with Raquel and Perry. He's one of those guys you can put anywhere, and he does the job. And he's bringing hardness to our group. He's bringing leadership to our group. He's drastically improved the pre-K for us. 80% on face-offs yesterday. It's just one of those guys that we really needed. And right now he's proven why we got him. So if people didn't know why, well, now you know. That's what he's bringing.